If inflammation is the root cause of all disease, then what's the root cause of inflammation? So I just got out of my Hocket, which is this contraption right here, which I will definitely talk to you about on one of our wellness modalities days. But while I was in there and I was thinking about our talk that we were going to have today about gut health and how lowering inflammation is the first thing you want to do to heal your gut. But what is inflammation? And what's the root cause of inflammation? Because if you're healing your gut and doing all the things, but yet it's like you're bailing water out of a boat that has a hole in it. You keep bailing water out, doing the modalities, the supplements, doing all the things, but until you seal up that hole, it's going to keep filling up with water, aka inflammation. So in this video, we're going to talk about inflammation and how your gut plays a key role in inflammation. Super important. This is Spa Life TV, where we are on this wellness journey together and learning a new way to do wellness. And the Spa Life method is that new way. Because we can't take all the things that we do in life, the hustle, the stress, the hecticness that we do, the way we do life, into our wellness journey, because it won't work. And I know that because I learned it the hard way. I was doing all the things, and maybe you are too. Maybe you're doing the supplements and you're doing the exercise and eating healthy, but you're still dealing with symptoms, or worse yet, like for me, I got diagnosed with gastric lymphoma, and it made no sense. How was it that my stomach was so inflamed that it would actually cause cancer? Well, I didn't really understand inflammation, and that's what I want to make sure that you understand today. Because if 80 to 85% of your immune system is in your gut, and inflammation is simply your body's way of fighting something, it's your immune system's way of protecting you, fighting something, and 80% of it lives in your gut, then it would make sense that inflammation is happening first at your gut. Or certainly that's where the fire, the cascade is starting from. So what is inflammation? Well, we know about it. We know it as red, heat, swelling, pain, right? You smash your thumb on a door or with a hammer and it gets red, it gets hot, it swells, and it's in pain. Well, some areas of our body, we don't have all those same pain receptors. So maybe we don't feel the pain, or maybe we're covering up the pain. Maybe we do feel pain, but we're taking Tylenol to mask the pain. But inflammation happens in the gut because when you eat something, it is your gut that actually, where the food or the bacteria or the assault happens first in your gut. So having the immune system in your gut would make a lot of sense, because it's like they're at the front lines, and that's where inflammation happens. Now, if you have inflammation, there is a cascade somewhere upstream that is causing your immune system to overreact. And when that happens, it's your immune cells that are activating these chemicals, and these chemicals will cause the red heat, swelling, and pain, so that you could either, it's a warning sign. It's a warning sign to address the issue, or it's a warning sign to stop doing the thing that is causing the problem. As the immune system goes in there and fights whatever it needs to fight with all its immune cells. That's basically what inflammation is doing. It's actually our body's way of protecting us. Here's the problem. Even though inflammation is a good thing for our body, when it gets stuck and it gets chronic and there's no relief, it becomes a chronic inflammation that has a downstream effect on your digestion, your ability to digest food, your ability to, or your how you feel bloated or pain after eating, or all of a sudden you're allergic to food, or you get a leaky gut, and now foods that you eat and you're supposed to digest, they actually leak through the gut lining, and they're not supposed to, and they get through in large molecules. And these large molecules of food that was supposed to be digested gets into your bloodstream, that your immune system recognizes as danger, as a foreigner. And so it attacks that particle of thing that is not supposed to be in your bloodstream. And because you have a leaky gut, those things keep leaking through into your bloodstream. And your immune system says, alert, those things are not supposed to be here. So let's say, for example, you have a leaky gut from years of stress and antibiotic use and eating processed foods and drinking alcohol and drinking sodas and all those things that have damaged your gut. And now you have a leaky gut. And now you eat something like eggs, which is healthy, right? But your digestion isn't functioning right. You're not digesting the egg. And so as it breaks down, it's supposed to break down smaller, but these molecules will actually get into your bloodstream that are not supposed to be there. These egg molecules are not supposed to be in your bloodstream, and the immune system will see it as a foreigner and start attacking the body because they're trying to get rid of this egg. And all of a sudden, you find out you're allergic to eggs because it causes a skin rash, or it causes bloating, or pain in your joints, or fatigue. All of a sudden, you recognize that you can't eat that food anymore. You're allergic to it. And if you go upstream, you realize it was a leaky gut. And what was causing the leaky gut? It is those things that we talked about. It was the stress, or antibiotic use, or artificial sweeteners, or so many things that we know. I mean, you already know. You know all the things that are healthy and not healthy, and they seem so innocent one by one. It is usually an accumulative effect of many different things in our life that starts wearing down at that gut lining, which causes an inflammatory cascade effect, and then ultimately symptoms. Symptoms such as brain fog, symptoms such as skin rashes, skin diseases, pain in your joints, or worse, autoimmune diseases or cancer like I got. And this is why I am talking to you about this, because you can do all the things, but until you get to the root cause, and I'll tell you what my root cause was. The root cause for me was a chronic state of stress in my mind and how I lived my life in a hypervigilant stress state, always going, burning the candle on both ends, trying to people please, trying to make it look like I had it all together. And that constant stress started to cause an ulcer in my stomach, which was an H. pylori bacteria. And I did all the things. I took supplements and herbs and things to calm the pain I was feeling in my gut. But really, it was an H. pylori bacteria, and the body created a tumor around it to stop that H. pylori from spreading, and that tumor became cancerous. That's how it happened to me. And I never got to the root because I was so busy worrying about symptoms. So I wanted to stress how important it is to get to the root cause. Now, it's not easy though. It could be mold, it could be metals, it could be just chronic stress, it could be a tooth infection or another infection somewhere in your body, it could be a parasite. So many possibilities. It could be, did I say mold? Yes. It could be so many possibilities. And it takes time to figure out what those are. And you want to work with somebody ideally. And certainly if you don't get an opportunity to work with somebody, I suggest you use something called the health grid. And the health grid helps you track what you do in your life for your health. And it's one page for every week, and you track what you do. And then I usually turn the back of the page and write down, how did I feel with that meal? How did my body respond? So I start keeping a pattern and noticing how my body is reacting to all the different things that I do. Okay, so that's inflammation. That's how there's a cascade effect. And I wanted to stress, before I tell you all the different things that you can do to lower inflammation, I wanted to make sure that you really understood that getting to the root cause is the most important thing. And even though I understand it's not easy, you can do it by having a tool called the health grid to track what you do and recognize how your body responds to things. So the reason I'm in front of the Hocket is because this is one of the modalities that I use to keep my cells healthy and strong and lower inflammation. So in this machine, it's actually 10 different wellness modalities in one session. like literally the most powerful machine right now that I know of in the world to help heal your body and heal your cells. So what can you do where you're at right now? So this is what I want to be able to give you, is 10 different things, my favorite things, besides the Hocket, which if you can find someone with a Hocket or you want to come here to the Serenity Center when we open up, you're welcome to do that, to use this amazing machine. Until then, here are the things that I love to do to lower inflammation. So number one, nature. Now, it's definitely grounding, yes, but it's being in nature. Being outside amongst the trees, listening to the birds, noticing the trees, noticing the sunset, noticing the clouds. Paying attention to nature will lower inflammation. And then, of course, nature is grounding. So taking your shoes off, walking in the grass, grounding. The second thing that I love is sunlight. Being in the sunshine, because the sun is giving you the perfect infrared light that you need. It's feeding your cells the light because your cells respond to light. So when you give it sunshine, especially in the morning, like 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night, you are feeding your cells the light that it needs to lower inflammation. So that is nature and sunlight. So there's nature and sunlight and water. Now those things you have access to all the time. And what do I mean by water? And the reason I'm stressing, because you know these things. I mean, you know sunlight, you know grounding, you know water. And the reason I really want to impress upon you is so that you really understand that when you're standing next to a waterfall or sitting next to a waterfall and listening, you're not just having a relaxing moment. You are actually lowering inflammation. You are actually cooling down that redness, the heat, the swelling, and even the pain at the gut and within your body. So the sunlight, the water, the nature, and breath, you can do those things right now. Just to make sure that I don't miss anything, I have a short list because I have 15 things that I want to make sure that I tell you all the different things that you can do to lower inflammation. So we already talked about nature and water and sunlight. The other thing is, and we talked about breath. The other one is red light. I'm sure you have heard so much about red light, and it is powerful and it is proven. And there are many research studies on the effect of red light on your cells. Your cells respond to light, and red light in particular is healing to your cells, and it will lower inflammation. And there are plenty of studies that prove that is true. The other one is self-talk. It is simple as putting your hand on your heart. I like to do that because I like to signal that this is a moment where I'm going to drop into healing and lowering inflammation. So you put your hand on your heart and you simply say, take a deep breath. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Okay? So it is self-talk that will lower inflammation. The other one is fascia movements. Now, Tuesday we talk about fascia, so come back tomorrow and we will talk all about fascia. But fascia movements is just bouncing in place, swinging your arms, doing fascia maneuvers, and walking, going for a walk, just movement. Moving your body will lower inflammation. The next one is praying over your food and eating slow. Remember we talked about inflammation starts in your gut? So it starts with the food you eat. So praying over your food will start to allow your body to prepare for that food to come in, and then eating slowly, chewing your food, and taking that time so that your stomach isn't going to react in a stress state. And then the next one is cold plunge. Yes, of course I had to add cold plunge because cold plunge will drop inflammation within minutes. Yeah, you can stay just a couple minutes in the cold plunge and you will lower inflammation over your entire body. How powerful is that? There are very few things that can lower inflammation that rapidly and over the entire body. The next one is sauna. Yep, sauna lowers inflammation as well. Infrared sauna and then the regular saunas that are not infrared causes the heat as well, and it does also lower inflammation. And then what else do I have? The next one is laughing. Yes, laughing. No, real laughing. Laughing like watch a funny movie or watch kids play or watch the dogs play or just find something funny in things and learn to laugh and have a spirit of laughter. And I promise you that will lower inflammation in your body. The next one is essential oils, and it doesn't matter which essential oil. Sure, some people say this oil does something better, whatever. It really, for inflammation, all essential oils will help lower inflammation. You just put a little on your hand, inhale, or use a diffuser, and that will literally drop the inflammation in your body. Intermittent fasting. So I'm sure you've heard tons about intermittent fasting, but that actually will help lower inflammation. And we can always go into that another time. The 14th one is removing trigger foods. Remember we talked about the egg and how it's a healthy food and yet all of a sudden you're allergic? There are other foods that can do that to you, but you need to find out what they are. So if you want to, you can do a food sensitivity test. And there's lots of online companies that you can do this easily. Everlywell has great food sensitivity test to find out what foods are triggering you. Doesn't mean you're allergic to that food forever. It just means right now, as you're healing your gut, don't eat those foods because your immune system is reacting. And then as you heal your gut, as your gut gets stronger, then you can add those foods back in after you've healed the lining and those foods are not leaking into your bloodstream anymore. So finding out those trigger foods, and it's called food sensitivity tests, and you can get it through something like Everlywell. The 15th, and this is kind of unfair because I'm going to rattle off a whole bunch right now, but the 15th thing is supplements. But I'm not going to give you one supplement because I love you and I want to give you lots of options. And I know I've given you a lot of things, but I just want you to choose one or two and start slowly adding those into your life. So the supplements that I've included here are turmeric, of course, which is also known as curcumin, slippery elm. That is great. I have to tell you though, my favorite for lowering inflammation is called IgG 2000 by Microbiome Labs. And I'll put the link in the description below. It is absolutely my favorite. Well, omega-3s are my favorite too. Okay, so I have a lot of favorites, but I love IgG 2000. So if you have any gut inflammation, get that and start taking it. And take it, whatever it says on the package, but there's like no side effects. It's like a food, so it's amazing. The other thing that I really like for if you have gut inflammation, you just need to cool it down. I love DGL, like a licorice root DGL. I'll also put a link to that in the description through FullScript. You can get something there, or you can go to your health food store or Whole Foods or something. DGL is chewable, so it's really nice to have in your purse or something. And if you have a dinner that you know isn't settling right, you can just chew on that and really soothes it. So IgG2. Oh, ginger is also wonderful, of course. Boswellia is great. Bone broth, I included just because. Okay, omega-3s. Omega-3s, some people know them as fish oils, essential fatty acids. And my suggestion is about 3 grams. So look at your bottle, try to get the highest quantity and take about 3 grams or more if you can. And quercetin, and then of course probiotics. My favorite probiotic is also by Microbiome Labs, and it is a spore-based probiotic. So there you have it. That is my exhaustive list of all of my favorite things that I like to do to lower inflammation. So as you are discovering what is your trigger, as you are discovering what is your root cause of your inflammation, these are the things that you can do to start soothing and calming down that inflammation right now, today. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow as we talk about fascia.